So he sponsored one of our, again, KLC initiatives concerning planning and zoning. So if you don't mind, I'll have Lauren kind of summarize that bill, and then Representative Johnson, if you want to make a few remarks, we'd love to. And then we'd love to get a group photo if that's okay.
Sure, $5.
Well, good afternoon. Ms. Gracie said, my name is Lauren Lewis. I'm the Government Affairs Counsel with KLC, and thank you all very much for having us this evening to present this award to a very well-deserved recipient. As Gracie said, Representative Johnson sponsored House Bill 321 for us, which was a really good bill for planning and zoning. He actually came to us, as I recall, because he's very passionate about planning and zoning, and it's a very important issue in Kentucky, especially now. This bill really helped kind of reform or rework the time periods in which the trainings for planning and zoning board and commission members can get those trainings completed by. They have a little bit more flexibility. They have up to a year to complete the orientation, thank you. The orientation training, and then the continued training, they have up to 4 years for that instead of the usual 2. And with each of those, a portion of that is dedicated to planning and zoning impacts of those policies and procedures on housing availability, which is, as we know, a continuing concern for Kentuckians that persists through this next session. So very grateful. Thank you so much. Really look forward to working with you more in the future, so thank you.
Would you like to
So Gracie asked an elected official if he wanted to say a few words. That's like, it's like saying sick 'em to a dog as far as I'm concerned.
We got a 3-minute
But I
timer
will be
on
brief. I would just say this. You see in the papers and you see in the media a lot of the big bills that we do, the crime bills or tax reduction and things like that. But really the nuts and bolts of what we do in Frankfort a lot of times comes down to doing bills like this. Is this going to change the life of every Kentucky citizen? No. But is this going to make a difference for that family that's looking for that first-time home ownership and can't find their way through the process and maybe through planning and zoning efforts they'll have a better chance at that? That's what these bills do. And so I'm excited to do this kind of work for not just KLC, but for the city of Owensboro and all the cities of Kentucky. And I appreciate you guys making the effort to come and say hi. So thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Do you mind if we come up and take a group picture?
What?
Do you mind if we come up and take a group photo? Okay.
As long as he's in the background, you should.
Come on, Lauren. Give us direction, Nick.
Come on in.
It'll be back. Thank you. Thank you all.
Good. That was it. I'm not there? Yeah.
Okay. And I can tell you from personal experience, he'll go and dig for you when somebody else won't. He's always there
very receptive. He can take no and turn it around and make a yes better than anybody I know. So thanks so much, Representative Johnson. Okay, next item on the agenda. Looks like OMU. Power Supply. Tim Lyons, General Manager.
Thank you, Mayor. Tim Lyons, Owensboro Municipal Utilities General Manager, 2070 Tamarack Road, Owensboro, Kentucky.
Get into the mic so everybody can hear at home.
Okay. I want to take this opportunity to thank you for allowing our team to be here tonight. We always like to come out and provide an update to the commission, especially when we have some significant changes in the way we operate. OMU has been serving this community for 125 years. We're celebrating it this year. We have over 26,000 water customers. As always, we provide service to not only our customers, but to the Davis County Water District and the East Davis County Water Association. Serve over 100,000 customers from a water supply area. We have over 27,000 electric customers. And we're almost, I think we're getting pretty close to getting 6,000 telecommunications customers. That business has grown greatly over the last couple of years. Just give a plug that if you are an electric service customer from Owensboro Municipal Utilities, you have an opportunity to sign up for our fiber to the home service. So if you have that opportunity, please do so. Our mission is to serve our community by providing reliable, quality utility services at the most economical cost. And our vision is to be a valued provider and local partner in energy, water, telecommunications to help our community move forward. We have a great group of commissioners. J.T. Fulkerson, who's here with us, he's our chair. Dr. Tom Maddox is our vice chair. Susie Lamar is our secretary. Paul Martin is a commissioner. And then our newest commissioner is Mr. Landon Tong here. And I would be remiss to say Tony Cecil has been a commissioner for our commission for 12 years. He decided to resign in the May meeting. He needed to spend more time with his family. But I wanted to make sure that you were aware of that because many of the projects that are listed here, and he was heavily involved in this power supply. He is just a great person. He is a great commissioner. He's a great person for this community. And we'll definitely miss his service, but we appreciate everything he's done for us. As mentioned, I'm the general manager. Laura Chapman is our director of finance and accounting. Russ Evans is our director of production. Brad Houghton is our director of customer and shared services. Austin McLemore is our director of transmission and distribution, and Chris Pointer is our director of telecommunications. And they do a great job representing their departments in this organization. We're very proud of the awards that we've achieved for serving our community. We've received the American Public Power Association's Reliable Public Power Provider, or the RP3 award, for the third consecutive time. We received it under the Platinum status, which is the highest level that can be attained from the American Public Power Association. There's over 2,000 American Public Power municipal agencies in the United States, so we're very pleased to be recognized. Also, we've received the Large Water Treatment Plan of the Year from the American Waterworks Association, and we've also received the Large Water Distribution System of the Year from the American Waterworks Association. So we're very pleased with these awards that we've received. Safety is a top priority at OMU, not only for our employees but the public as well. We're very pleased with the milestones that we've received. The production department has gone 4 years without a lost time incident. We received the Destiny Award from the Kentucky Employee Mutual Insurance Award. And for the first time, we received the Platinum Safety Award from the American Public Power Association. So we're very pleased with these awards. Of course, our 160 plus employees are our greatest asset, and they are heavily responsible for all of these awards, and they do a great job responding to the needs of this community. In our last customer service survey, we received a 97% overall satisfaction rating. We're very pleased with that award. We don't know. I mean, we're just so pleased that we were able to achieve this because in the utility business, when you're talking about bills and customer service, it's very hard in some cases to meet these awards, and this is outstanding. We'll put that up against anybody in the nation. And our projects, we've been very busy. We've been very fortunate. It takes a community to be able to receive the funding that we received so far. We've been the recipient of over $4 million in city, county, state infrastructure to assist with the Hillcrest area water pressure improvements. And I want to say that the system is online and the improvements have been completed. The last step is to tear down the Hillcrest water tower. That's of great interest. That will happen sometime late fall, early winter. We're working with the golf course to make sure we don't impede anybody's golf scores as we move forward. So, other water well related projects, we're in the process of installing 2 of 3 new wells that we've received funding for. And our lead and copper initiatives line testing is going very well. We are also in the process of receiving funds for the Owensboro Riverport Authority project, where we're going to increase pipe size in that area to increase flows to the Riverport. We're very pleased to be received about $1.3 million for that work. We also are in the process of receiving about $1 million for economic development expansion project for upgrading a 6 to 9 to 12-inch water line for customers that are in a certain area that's continued to grow. We just received we're going to receive 90% of a $600,000 project for the Poet section, where we're going to be reconductoring that area. And pleased to announce that we received $1.7 million for an electric transmission tower replacement. We have a tower on the west end, on the Indiana side, that the river continues to deteriorate and is starting to infringe upon the foundation. And that was announced by the governor last week, so we're going to move forward with that. And it's due to some of the increased flooding that we've seen on the Ohio River. So in all, once we receive all these funds, we'll have over $8 million in funds for the electric and water department. They're all infrastructure projects that going directly to assist with service reliability to this area. And the greatest part is these costs don't have to be passed along to our customers. Very pleased with that. So thank you. Special shout out to the mayor for helping us on a couple of those projects, and especially Suzanne Miles for moving some of those projects forward. Our power supply, say we're here today to discuss that because we are in the process of making some significant changes to the way we provide power to the city here in about 2 years. We have a current contract with Big Rivers Electric. It expires on 12/31 of 2026. And we are currently in the LG&E KU system control area. We entered into that contract in 2020. As mentioned, it was about a 6.5-year contract. That gave us time, that gave our leadership time to look at different options as we move forward and evaluate our resource portfolio. So we developed an integrated resource plan. We worked in conjunction with GDS and Associates, and we started working on that plan in 2022. The 3 criteria that we were looking for is economics, risk, and flexibility to ensure that we were try to provide the most efficient service to our customers with the least amount of risk. In 2023, we solicited a request for proposal for power supply. In that RFP, we were looking for if there was an available unit contingent gas-fired, preferably a combined cycle natural gas-fired generator, somewhere in the neighborhood of procuring about 50 to 125 megawatts off of a system. We were looking at capacity and energy. We were also looking at the Mid-Continent Independent System Operator, or as we will call MISO, for capacity credits for Zone 6 up to 180 megawatts, which would be delivered to that zone. And we was also looking at options for a third party to assist OMUs move into MISO. We, in that RFP was sent out to 95 power suppliers. We received 9 proposals with 6 suppliers. Throughout the evaluation process, and as identified in our integrated resource plan, it is apparent that in order to ensure the most economical and flexible options, that it would be beneficial for Owensboro Municipal to move from the LG&E system to the MISO system. This was not an easy process. We needed to identify bridge resources with key partners to assist with this move. We had to continue the evaluation process, and we wanted to identify a long-term capacity contract and solutions for this community. First question is, who is MISO? They are an independent, not-for-profit, member-based organization. They're responsible for keeping the power flowing across its region reliably and cost-effectively. They focus on 3 critical tasks. They manage the flows of high-voltage electricity across 15 U.S. states, and the Canadian province. They facilitate the world's largest energy market, more than $33 billion in annual transactions. And they're continually planning the grid for the future to incorporate renewable energy sources to help transport them at the most economical cost to customers. They provide access to a diverse portfolio of power supply options: gas, coal, wind, solar, hydro, and nuclear energy. For your review, this is the current mix as of the latest, with gas, coal, and nuclear being at the top. And then also they have a large wind portfolio, and the solar continues to grow. Installed capacity is the amount available in a 15-minute interval, and then the energy production is pretty much resembles the same for the energy provided out of their footprint. Here's the area that they cover. As you can see, they go up into Canada all the way down to Louisiana in the area circled. And the area that we would be most interested in interconnecting in is the Zone 6. As you know, Big Rivers is already a MISO member. And then the remainder part of the state is pretty much in the LG&E KU Control Center. So essentially, if you look at the state of Kentucky, that's where we would have access to power from and transmission. If you look at the circle, that's where we'd have access to from a transmission and resource perspective in the MISO area. So we get a much broader range of area to procure capacity and energy. In order to participate in the MISO market, we needed a pathway or an interconnect. So we approached LG&E to try to purchase assets to establish an interconnection with MISO. Through that negotiation process, Big Rivers had some interest in owning and maintaining some facilities. So LG&E offered an agreement with OMU in exchange for selling assets to the Big Rivers Electric Corporation. Essentially, we would enter the MISO system. We would no longer take transmission service from LG&E, and they provided a cost for Big Rivers to purchase assets from them. LG&E will sell. We've completed the settlement agreement and the asset agreement. And LG&E will sell assets to Big Rivers for OMU's interconnect with Big Rivers to establish the interconnect for MISO. OMU agrees to move into MISO upon the closing sale of the assets, and we are proposing the closing date of the sale will be March 1 of 2027. In addition, we needed to secure some additional, an additional interconnect with Big Rivers. So we entered into a transmission line agreement. BREC agreed to purchase the necessary equipment from LG&E. BREC provided an agreement to secure a primary and secondary interconnect with its system to facilitate OMU's participation into MISO. So we're going to be building a second interconnect. OMU's move into MISO is projected to begin March 1 of 2027. And as mentioned, this will allow OMU much greater opportunities for capacity and energy at the most economical price. We have worked out a power supply agreement with Big Rivers. It's a new contract, but the new contract will take effect January 1 of 2027 and run through May 31st of 2027, 5 months. You say, well, why such a short time period? Well, we needed them to assist us in the migration. So in the January-February time frame, we will still be in the LG&E KU system, and they have access to we have access to the transmission to provide us that service in that 2-month period. Then in March, we will move to MISO. Big Rivers will help us in the coordination and migration into the MISO system. And we will be working with them on capacity and energy prices as we move forward. And OMU, we will be the market participant for this time period once we're in the MISO market. Beginning June 1 of 2027, we have also entered into a contract with NextEra Energy, and that goes through 2034. And I'm pleased to say that we have a representative with NextEra, Jack Sullivan. He is the Senior Director of Originations with NextEra. I thought it would be good to have him here to provide an overview of who NextEra is and to address any questions about NextEra. So I'm going to turn this portion of the presentation over to Jack, and then I'll be back up here to kind of wrap this up. So, Jack.
Thanks, Tim. First, I'd like to say thank you to the entire Owensboro community. On behalf of about 300 colleagues that I work with in my specific business unit at NextEra, we truly appreciate the opportunity to earn your business. I've worked pretty closely with Tim over the last, call it 2.5 years, and working with the Board of Commissioners for the utility, and now the opportunity to meet city officials here today. The other thing I would say is I was fortunate enough to be able to come into town a couple days early and stay at the Hampton Inn on the river facilities, and it was absolutely gorgeous. Coming in from out of town, being the first experience, it was a really nice time. And I'm glad that we're doing business with Owensboro, because I plan on coming back and enjoying that whole experience many times over the next couple of years. So that being said, who is NextEra? NextEra Energy Resources owns and generates 43 generating facilities totaling more than 6,000 megawatts in 11 states of MISO, and that is the system that Tim spoke of. Owensboro is entering MISO on June 1 of 2027. You can see the states are listed there. In 2025, NextEra Marketing will serve about 50 distinct public power customers and cooperatives in that footprint in U.S. markets. And in MISO specific, NextEra is contracted to serve and manage about 900 megawatts of customer load currently. And we have loads in other geographic regions of the United States, but you all may know that order of magnitude, Owensboro is about 200 megawatts. So we're serving quite a bit of power, and with quite a bit of experience, institutional knowledge, and expertise in these markets, not to mention the fact that we have a fairly good contingent of renewable assets that we develop around the United States. Next slide. I'm sorry. Okay, so who is NextEra? We're a Fortune 200 company. We have a 100-year track record, about $25 billion in operating revenue last year, with about $190 billion in total assets. Our stock symbol is NEE on the New York Stock Exchange. We're obviously a publicly traded company. And we have investments in over 1,000 miles of natural gas pipeline. Our company is split up into two basic components: NextEra Energy Resources, which is the family of companies that I work for, and then Florida Power and Light, FP&L, which most people identify a little more with Florida Power and Light. It is your traditional regulated franchise service territory investor-owned utility in Florida. We serve about 6 million customers in Florida. And in general, a lot of the strength of our balance sheet and the institutional knowledge that comes to bear on the unregulated side of the business comes from the expertise and the 100-year track record of Florida Power and Light. That institutional knowledge basically transfers into our group. We do have assets all over the United States, and we have resources that don't need scaling up when it comes to addressing the public power sector, particularly working with Tim over the last couple of years for our supply plan that we have in place now. These are individuals that have worked in those 900 megawatts of markets. They've been there for quite a while, got a lot of experience interfacing with MISO, so on and so forth. So hopefully we can project enough confidence in our services over the next 7 to 10 years. We plan on working very closely with the utility. Okay. With NextEra Energy Marketing as OMU's energy provider, we provide extensive knowledge and operational experience, and it'll be readily available to OMU. We've already worked with Tim fairly closely over the last, especially several months as contracts were getting signed and so forth. And Tim has had access to our internal experts in real time if anything would come up, including our attorneys, credit folks, financial analysts, so on and so forth, and we plan on continuing that relationship well into the future. NextEra also provides OMU with a greater flexibility to manage its energy needs as OMU integrates its load into the MISO market. Again, we have a lot of expertise. We operate currently in those markets very successfully, and we've also been through the process with other electric cooperatives and so forth that have migrated to MISO, and we have a lot of confidence that that process is going to work out fairly smooth. NextEra provides OMU with direct control of its power supply procurements. We have a system set up where Tim is going to be able to work with us very closely. We provide flexibility so that if there's a desire for growth in the industry or with the commercial side of the business or residency within OMU, our contracts are flexible enough that that will be provided for the term of our agreement. We allow OMU to utilize the most current and competitive wholesale market resources to procure energy. NextEra is no stranger to wholesale markets. We participate in those markets every day, every week, every month, every hour of the year. We have a long-term marketing group that I work for in origination. Typically, the contracts that I work on with the folks that I interface with in the market are 10 to 15 years in term, and we plan on having a long-term relationship with Owensboro. Flexible enough to incorporate OMU's future energy strategies, including any future resources OMU may wish to build or procure. As I mentioned, our contracts are very flexible to the extent that you would make a decision down the road that you would like to procure an asset or develop additional load. Our contracts not only provide for that, but we encourage it. Enables an ONU to tap into the expertise and best practices of one of the leading utilities in the country. NextEra is a Fortune 200 company and very admired amongst our peers. And again, we do appreciate the opportunity now to be working directly with OMU. Provide secure, stable energy supply to OMU customers throughout our term, all the way up to 2034 at this point. So we have a proposed timeline here. I think Tim is going to resume that discussion. It's going to talk a little bit about the timing of when our contracts start and the transition period when that will transpire and so on and so forth. So again, thank you to everyone in the room. Thank you to the commission. It was a great opportunity to meet some folks before I spoke here today, and looking forward to more in the future. Thank you very much, everyone.
So just to reiterate our proposed timeline, our current contract with Big Rivers ends on December 31st. We have a transitionary period between January 1st of 2027 and May 31st of 2027 with Big Rivers for power supply and OMU's transition into MISO. Scheduled date into MISO is March 1 of 2027, and then the NextEra contract will begin June 1 of 2027. Some of the things that, our customers will see some impacts. Power prices continue to increase nationwide. We do anticipate this will affect our customers. However, we believe these partnerships will allow us to mitigate and lessen the economic impact on our customers. These proposals provide an opportunity to develop a diverse energy supply portfolio, including renewable sources of power. With OMU moving to MISO and utilizing NextEra resources places OMU and our customers in the best position as we move forward. So what does it look like? So our electric system operating expenses, I just want to say that 74% of our expenses are tied directly to power and transmission costs. So, and then the T&D is a transmission distribution group that provides a service and is 10%, G&A is 10%. So you can see a good portion of the pie is going to be relied upon with this contract. So the main question is, well, what kind of impact does this have to rates? You can see OMU in the middle there. We're currently, our residential rate is about 13.4 cents. We believe that's moving up to about 15 cents in the next 12 months. The yellow line I want to point out is what OMU customers were paying in 2019 before we made the decision to get out of the power production business and start relying on the markets. I also want to point out that, you know, the area that's highlighted in diagonally is what we're projecting the increase to be. You can look across the board and see that, you know, we are still regionally and nationally competitive with our electric rates. You can also see that in the Louisville area, they announced a 14% increase that they presented to the Public Service Commission effective January 1 of this year. These rates have moved up quite a bit, but once again, we believe that these contracts that we have with our group and this transitionary period is going to help mitigate some additional future costs. If you look at our electric commercial rate, once again, very competitive even with the proposed increase, and our industrial rates likewise remain very competitive. I also want to point out that our water rates are some of the lowest in the nation and lowest in the region. We're very pleased with that. And finally, our residential fiber prices. Back in 2016, $49.99 got you 50 megabits per second service. Now it's 500. So we just believe with the services that we provide for electric, water, and telecommunication, even with these changes, we are still very competitive, not only in the region, but in the nation. Not only that, but we also want to maintain the highest level of reliability, and we believe utilizing the contracts that we have in place and moving to MISO helps us enable that moving forward. So that is our presentation today, and myself and Jack are here to answer any specific questions you may have.
Questions? Commissioner Sanford?
Wow, just one, Tim.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for coming tonight. Just for future growth, do we have the infrastructure capability if there was a big plant to come for water and for power? Number one. Number two is the contract, I don't know how power works because that's your field. Is it the more you buy, does it get cheaper, or is it just the same, or how does the contract work?
The contract would be if we had to go out and procure additional services, it would be what the market price would be at that time.
Okay.
So I think power prices continue to increase that we look at for the next 4 to 5 years, but we would take that into account when we would procure that as we pass that on to our customer. As far as infrastructure, I think we have sufficient infrastructure for 20 to 30 megawatts of growth. Of course, we have a facility for a power plant that if a large entity wanted to come in and drop a generator in there, then we could go much higher.
Okay.
And that's a beauty that we still have, and we still have that option available. And we looked at installing generation out there, but it was just cost prohibitive based upon our size and economies of scale at this time. But if someone large came in or jointly, we would entertain that option, and our door is open at all.
Okay, excellent. That's why I asked that question. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sharon, do you have anything? Commissioner Glenn?
Yes, so the question I've got is, it looks like, I've got two questions. So the first is, the company that you're hired, that Mr. Sullivan's out giving us a broad brush view of, it seems pretty widespread. And so my novice question to you is, we hear all the time that the electric grid nationally is at grave peril, it's outdated, it needs to be replaced and upgraded, including potential cyber attacks. How confident do you feel in your new partnership with NextEra that can be addressed? Does NextEra have experience of that? So that may be a Mr. Sullivan question rather than yours.
The first part of the question I'll answer. I believe moving to the MISO system gives us greater flexibility with our transmission system. They have a very robust transmission expansion plan. Of course, that comes with a cost, but I think that increases the reliability. The biggest concern is there's insufficient generation being constructed in that system, not only there, but nationwide. And it's more concerning with the advent of AI and data centers. What are we going to have to do to install generation to meet up with that demand? But I believe by having one of the largest utilities in the nation, that they are one of the few that continue to invest in generation and infrastructure. And so I believe that gives us the most secure and reliable position at this point.
Well, and I think you all, yeah, if you want to add that, that's
Did you have anything to add on that, Jack?
I think that you did a good job.
Okay, thank you.
I think you've covered it.
Thank you.
Right, so the other question I've got is,
sir.
you say there may be a rate increase. Is that what I'm hearing?
That there will be a rate increase, yes.
Okay, so what is our time frame for that proposed rate increase? most
Probably
likely?
looking in the fall, doing an ECA rate adjustment because of the power supply. We will then do a cost of service study with a consultant group. We will bring that back to this group because it will probably affect a base rate increase adjustment with probably an offsetting ECA reduction. That will come probably in the spring. I suspect it will be a two-step type increase, one in the fall and then one in the June timeframe next year.
Okay. Well, I would just want to compliment you and OMU overall. I think you're doing a lot of good things right and well, particularly in regard to our concerns. My only concern is I don't want to see what is happening in Evansville with CenterPoint Energy. That's a travesty. That's almost criminal behavior. And so I hope as we make this transition, we can make it as softly in terms of impact to the working people of Owensboro. And I know that you and your staff are working to do that.
Yeah,
So I want to compliment you.
Thank you. We appreciate it. It takes a team, and we've got a great team here. And I believe we've added another great partner to help us with this as we move forward. So.
Thank you, Tim. Appreciate it.
Well, Tim, I love them big red trucks myself. Okay. They got all the answers, man. I love them showing up. But I'm very proud that you're part of us, and we're part of you and your staff and your board of directors, and everybody performed very, very well, and we're proud to be partnered with you.
Same here. We appreciate being part of this community for 125 years and continuing. Thank y'all.
That's even before my time. Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, next item on the agenda, consider approval of minutes dated June 17, 2025. I'll make a motion to approve these minutes. Could I have a second, please?
Second.
Any discussion, additions, or deletions? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Thank you. City manager items.
Yes, sir, Mayor. Thank you. First, we have various personnel appointments. As usual, for new hire probationary status, we have Megan Knox, probationary full-time, non-civil service appointment to recreation specialist with the Parks and Recreation Department effective July 14th. I believe Megan will occupy a vacant position at the Dugan Best Recreation Center, so we're happy to have that filled. For promotional probationary, we have Brittany Klotzbach, probationary full-time, non-civil service promotional appointment to recreational facilities manager with Parks and Rec effective July 13th. And Kevin Lang, probationary full-time, non-civil service promotional appointment to sergeant with the police department effective July 13th. And then regular status, having completed their probationary periods, we have Susan Crago, regular full-time, non-civil service appointment to clerk typist with the personnel department effective July 1st, and Miranda Zunin, regular full-time, non-civil service appointment to telecommunicator with Central Dispatch effective July 1.
Thank you, sir. I'll make a motion to approve these appointments. Could I have a second, please?
Second.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Thank you. Item 6B, city manager comments.
Yeah, just one other comment tonight. I know at our last presentation, Public Events Director Tim Ross did a much more thorough presentation about the July 4th activity. So just a reminder, Friday we have a lot of activity scheduled. We'll continue the decentralized or shooting of fireworks at 4 different locations. That's been very well received by the community. It does make a more expensive event, but it's been well received, so we're happy to continue doing it in that particular manner so people can watch in their neighborhoods or in their communities. And again, that's Friday. It's going to be pretty warm and sunny, so make sure folks hydrate before you get out into the sun. The only other comment tonight, Mayor, just to acknowledge Danae Galloway being at the end of the day this morning, filling in for Angela, who's at a conference. So happy to see Danae. We do not see her here enough, so glad she's here.
Thank you, Danae. And they've got a great band that's going to play down there. It's called, it's from Nashville, Tennessee, and they've come every year. And you need to go down and listen to them. They are phenomenal. Okay, open public forum. Members of the audience may address the Board of Commissioners on any matter of public concern. Did I miss somebody? Huh? We're on 7. Communication from elected officials. I thought y'all talked enough already. Supper's getting cold. Go ahead, Commissioner Sanford.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a couple things. Romp was last weekend. I want to thank their board, employees, volunteers, everybody that made that happen. I saw license plates from everywhere. So that's a great event, and they're to be commended. 4th of July is coming up. Please, if you're letting off fireworks, be careful, number one, and be courteous of your neighbors not to be doing it. I've had some people ask me late at night, so just be courteous of other people. You know, enjoy 4th of July, but just remember there's other folks around who probably have to get up and go to work early. And that's it, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Glenn.
I want to echo on the fireworks. Please be careful on behalf of our fire department and our first responders. Please be careful in using them so you don't injure yourself or somebody else, and more importantly, follow the municipal rules. Don't be shooting them off 5 weeks later. That tends to be the habit in our neighborhood. We start in June and we end in August, so hopefully we're not shooting them off that long.
Is that it, Bob?
Yes, sir.
No.
That is all.
Commissioner Magdalene?
Thank you, Mayor. Just want to wish everyone an all-American 4th of July. Thank you, Mayor.
Good job. Commissioner Neesmith?
I just want to echo about Romp. It was a great event, and I would like to applaud our Bluegrass Museum staff. They really did a great job of making sure everybody was safe, and it was a good time to go out there. One of the things, eventually we hope we'll be known not only for barbecue, but also the bluegrass capital of the world. So the Art Guild, Owensboro Art Guild, asked any of their artists if they would like to display a bluegrass-related object or art, pictures, jewelry, or whatever this year. So they did put that in the lobby of the Hampton Inn. And it was great, not only for the visitors that came through, but any local folks. So I'd like to commend that we have a great creative art community here. There's one thing that I don't want to give back to them, and that's the 14-foot steel banjo. But I'm not sure how I'm going to keep it, but I'm hoping it's too heavy. But it's very unique and some great things. So I appreciate the extra work that they did there. And then so has had the opportunity to attend the Owensboro Police Department graduating class. I believe that was the second class. Is that right? It was a really great performance, and I don't know whether it was the heat or actually just the seriousness of it, but it was one of those moving moments when you really appreciated our national anthem and seeing those young gentlemen go up on stage, and the whole presentation by OPD of making it as serious and as moving and as important it was great to know that we do that and honor that. So think about all of our officers as you go through this weekend, because they'll probably be out fussing at everybody about fireworks. But anyway, it was great, and I just want to say thank you because they did a great job.
And Romp was alcohol-free, right?
Alcohol at Romp? Let's put it this way: the smoke was not as thick as it normally is.
Smoke.
Okay.
I got you. Okay, now can we go to open public forum? Members of the audience may address the Board of Commissioners on any matter of public concern that was not on the agenda. Comments are limited to issues within the scope and responsibility of the Commission. Commission meetings are held to conduct city business for the benefit of Owensboro citizens and taxpayers. At this time, anyone who wishes to address the City Commission please make their way to the podium. To be recognized, speakers must state their name and address for the clerk's record and limit their remarks to 3 minutes or less. Since items not on the agenda, no response is required from staff or the Board of Commissioners. Who's up for,
It's your
How you
favorite
doing
chicken
there?
lady. As you guys know, my name is Isabel Burkett. My address is 3537 Canandaigua Loop North. Thank you, Mayor and Commissioners, for allowing me to speak for the third time. I'm here for the third time because I truly do believe that Owensboro can join the many other cities in Kentucky to allow backyard chickens in a responsible and neighborhood-friendly way. I understand concerns that I want to address today with chickens. One is noise, another can be odor, and property values are also a big one that people are worried about. They're valid and they do deserve real solutions, not dismissal. The good news is that other cities have figured it out. So hens, not roosters, are pretty quiet, cleaner than many dogs, and produce a lot less waste. I actually did my research on that, and a big dog, which I actually have a really large dog, she does a lot more waste than a couple little chickens would. Chickens are a lot smaller, usually by 30 decibels, than a barking dog, usually a big dog, or even a lawnmower. They're a lot quieter than those. The studies that show no consistent link between backyard chickens and declining property rates. And I found that in cities like Lexington, Bowling Green, and others. Here's what I and many in the community would like to support. A limit of just 4 to 6 hens, no roosters, setback requirements for coops, so whether that be how far the coops are from other property lines, and et cetera, that can be determined in the future. Enclosed clean living spaces is a big one. And that can also apply to chickens, that can apply to dogs, outside dogs. You know, you want to have a clean living space for them so you don't bother other neighbors. And then also a registration or a permit could also be required if you guys would like that to be in the ordinance. So someone would have to come and have a permit, and then someone would come out, probably animal control could come out and check it out and make sure it was all up to standards before they buy their chickens. So we're not asking for a free-for-all, we're asking for just a thoughtful ordinance that supports families, teaches kids responsibilities, and promotes food security and respects our neighbors. I know this has been tried twice before me, back in 2021 and 2020, or 2016. And both times, the people were actually told, the person who fought for it was told by the city commissioners at the time, to just go ahead and have the chickens. They said, we don't want to bother changing it. We have other things to worry about. Go ahead and have your chickens, no roosters, we don't care. And a lady was also told, even by a police officer who was here at the time, that an ordinance is not a law. So he said, you're fine, just go ahead and do it. So that being said, very nice of the commissioners to say that, but it is an ordinance, right? So people can still call on you and animal control comes out. I had that experience to someone I know, and animal control, has the right to say you can't have them because of the ordinance. So I'm just asking that maybe we stop asking for chickens and start asking how we can do it the right way. So thank you for your time and service in our community.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Hello, my name is Shelby Eads. My address is 3507 Hawthorne Drive. Just piggybacking on what Isabel said, I am also for backyard chickens because they offer families fresh, nutritious eggs right from their own yard, free from hormones and antibiotics. They help reduce food waste by eating table scraps. They provide natural fertilizer for gardens, and they teach kids responsibility and where food comes from, which as a homeschool mother coming up in the future, that is a very important skill that I would like to teach my children. All cities across Kentucky already allow them safely and successfully, like Isabel had also mentioned. They are quiet, clean when properly cared for, and a practical step towards greater food security and sustainability in our community. So thank you for your consideration and your service in our community as well.
Thank you. Anyone else? You sure? I'll make a motion to adjourn. Could I have a second, please? Second. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned.